Hi, I'm DaReal Leslie, and today we're going to do DRC Tutorials, and today we've got the amazing Yaw in the house. And he's representing locking, and he's going to teach you a thing or two about locking. So here you go.
Hi guys, Yaw Darko here from Funk of the Future and your official host for British Dance Organisation, here to deliver a locking tutorial for you guys. So, locking was born in the 1970s by a person of the name of Don Campbell Lock, aka Don Campbell. He was trying to do the robot shuffle and he came up with the lock, essentially. So, I'm going to give you a few steps to kind of get you on your locking journey, starting with a nice easy Leo walk. Leo walk essentially is kind of like a two-step. So you're going 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. However, you bring up the leg on the 1 and 1. So essentially going and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So the hand comes up on the 1, in and so on. So again, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 into a rock steady. Rock steady, using hips to isolate on the 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you're going 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Nice, simple. So let's put those two moves together. Again, little walk, then rock steady. 5, 6, 7, clap, 8, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Now you can use your arms for the rock steady if you wish. The arms would be 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Or you can literally just have your arms nice and free, depending on how you're feeling. So again, with a rock steady, think about your hips being nice and loose. You're isolating on the 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And from the top, with the Leo into a rock steady. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1 and 2 and 3 with the arms 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 into a pace. Or another word, keeping time. So keeping time used to be called the click. Clicking in time with the music and so on. But take the click out, you've got pace. You're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you're going out of the arm, coming down the and, hitting the 2 and the and. Using left arm. Remember, it's very, very important to use both arms as well. Very, very important. 3 and 4 and. So together you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's put those moves together. Leo walk into rock steady into pace. That's simple. 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, a 5 and 6 and a 7 and 8, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. From there, we're going to do a wrist roll. So wrist roll, essentially, you have 2 circles on your hands. Sometimes what can happen is your hand get nice and clenched. Don't let that happen. Have your arms nice and loose, your wrist nice and loose. You're rolling the wrist on the musicality of the music. So you're going 5 and 6. Now, Don Campbell actually, very, very nice story about the wrist roll was Don Campbell used to throw his handkerchief up in the air, catch it, roll his wrist, and wipe his brow. Yeah, so every step of locking essentially has a story behind it. Hence why I think it's one of the best styles, just saying. So, with wrist roll, you're going 5 and making sure you're still holding the music. Remember, locking means to stop. Even if you're stopping on the Campbell, you're pointing, you're wrist rolling, you're still stopping essentially, but you're adding that funk element because locking is a funk style. So you're going 5 and 6. So let's go from the pace into the wrist roll. Let's go slowly. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So let's go from the top of the Leo into rock steady, into pace, into wrist roll. Nice, simple. Slowly. 5, 6 with funk. 7, 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Rock steady, pace. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Wrist roll, wrist roll. From here, we're going to do a point. Now, a point comes from the shoulder or the chest, and you are holding the movement. It's super, super important. You don't do this. No control. Yeah? Doesn't look right, does it? Got the camera lady laughing at me as well. Essentially, you have to make sure that you're holding that movement. So from here, you're hitting that shoulder or the chest, and you're holding. Now, what makes a point really nice is the length of the arm. So really make sure you hit and you're looking. Point, point. Nice and simple. You can see my chin is right on the shoulder there. Boom. And making sure I'm hitting that shape. Boom. Yeah? So, again, no story with pointing. Don Campbell was laughed at with this style quite a lot. So what he used to do was to blow a kiss, point, and then pace towards his people. Because it was all love. Locking is also so much love and so much enjoyment. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial thus far. So you're going point on the 7 and the 8. So let's put that all together from the top, and I've got a few more steps for you, and then we're done. Nice and simple. Top again, slowly. Little walk. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Rock steady, pace. 1 and 2, and 3, and 4. Wrist roll, point, point. And you can notice that I'm adding that little funk element. That's, how you say, that's the essence of it. Because essentially, you don't want essentially this. No sauce, no flavor. You want and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So really make sure those legs come up nice and high when you do those little walks. And also when you're doing essentially the rock steady, think about really coming down the level, really using the hips there. Right, so you've just done point, point. Last couple moves and then we're all done. Wrist roll back clap. Very, very important move in locking. Why? Keeps you on beat and also it looks really funky. So you've just done 7, 8. You're going to go in, wrist roll, back, clap. We're going to do it twice. Wrist roll, back, clap. If I go side profile, you notice that my body does this. Because we've been locking, there is also a groove. There's a funk there as well. So you really got to make sure you're having that rock with the pace. I'm going up and up and up, right? Same thing. Back, back, back. So that being said, you're going in and back, back, in and back, back. Coming up on that 5. So this is your up lock. You're locking upwards. Coming down on the and now the Campbell lock. So Campbell lock, essentially, you've got one leg bent, one leg straight, boom, and you're sitting in that hip. So really make sure when you lock, you stop. Lock means to stop, yeah? So you're coming up on the 5, and then make sure your left knee bends, right leg stays straight, boom, and you're holding it. So almost like a real stop there. Now, what's your torso doing? So your torso is coming forward. And I always say, think opposite. So you never really lock like this. Always think opposite. So your left leg is bent, your right leg is straight, coming down, and then making sure your arms come here. That's a nice Campbell lock right there. And then you hold the movement. What we're going to do with this is we're going to lock on 6, we're going to hold 7, and then we're going to switch legs and switch position of our torso. So this now switches, we go on this side. Boom. There you are. Nice, simple, easy moves to get you going on your locking journey. So let's go from the pace, wrist, point, point. Yeah? So you're going pace, and pace, and pace, and pace, and wrist roll, and point, and point. Wrist roll, back clap. Again, the rock. Here. Here. So you're there on the 4, coming up on the 5, nice and big on that 5, come down on the and, lock on the 6, hold the 7, and then lock 8. All right, cool. There you are. Couple moves there to kind of get you on your locking journey. So let's go from the top, adding on. And one thing I forgot to mention was, essentially, the wrist back clap, you can also do like a walk. So think about your feet. Yes, you can be stationary. Yeah. But also think about you can also use your feet to kind of come forward or back. Or side, or left. You can change around, you can move with it, yeah? So, let's go top. Let's go one time, and then you're done. Top, here we go. 5, 6, 7, Leo walk, coming. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. To go. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Wrist roll, point, point, wrist roll, back, tap, wrist roll, back, tap, up, lock, lock. Boom, there you are. Guys, I've been Yaw Darko, your tutor and teacher for locking today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. But I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. See you soon.